Hey guys, I've been reading the chat off and on. I've got no idea how to keep up with it any better than that. I'd like to say hello to everyone, but hello to everyone if you're here. Chirpy and Judd, Mike from Cornwall, Joseph, g'day. Sorry you're not doing so well. Chirpy too, sorry you're not doing so well. Stuart, g'day, and Tommy, all the Tasmanian crowd. Maddie, g'day, down in Eden. Hey Craig. Richard, g'day. Thanks for the email. Very refreshing in Canberra, I bet. Um, Gary, good to see ya. Be the noddle. Ted Rosa, g'day. Hey Kevin, Machine NZ. Fridge, g'day. Go Create, hello Nigel. Wazza, g'day. Now I haven't watched many videos this week because I've been kind of busy. Sorry, my YouTube video library's building up and I'm going to have to get onto it, but I watched Robin Renzetti's tool making video and probably fell asleep during the middle of it. What else did I watch? Seriously, I watched a couple of Maddie's workshop videos. He's got a subscriber giveaway. If you're not subscribed to Maddie's workshop, you should get over there and do it. Rustanox, g'day. Um, Apart from that, I really haven't watched much at all. Got this lubricator finished, eh? This is kind of a live Steam project video. Sorry. So if you're not into that and you're expecting lots of tool making, it's probably not going to happen because it's not here. I don't think yet. We'll see how we go. It's still early days. Anything could happen. All bets are off, really. It's kind of, it could be anything. It could happen anyway. Everyone's sick. Winter's coming. This is the lubricator. I made this bit of a decision, right? That I lose too many loose filler caps on models. Every single model I've got, I've made more than one on. Thumb screws and loose filler caps seem to go missing. So I kind of made the decision that on this, I'm going to put hinge lids on everything. And that's what I've done. This has got a bit of a slant on the front of it. It's probably bigger than it needs to be. Craig, we'll get on to that. So this, I probably should zoom you in a bit. Look, I can do that. There we go. Don't know if that's really the answer, but let's move this over here. There we go. That's probably not so wobbly. It's terribly wobbly, and I apologise for that. But anyway, the zoom doesn't help. Yeah, it's bad. Sorry. I'll zoom out a little bit. Let's try that. There we go. So this ratchet on this end drives pump. You can see it going up and down. It doesn't pump a lot of oil, but it does pump against a pretty amazing pressure. So this has got two ratchet pulls on this end. Hey Dennis. So this is on and it's finished. There's quite a bit of work on it. I made this lid, which has got a 332 steel pin in it. That's the lid's solid, and then the other piece is fabricated. And I don't know why I didn't do that to start with. I still haven't got an O-ring on this cylinder. It's a pair of tweezers. I have got an O-ring on this gland packing here. That's next, and it all needs a good wash up and a clean. So I have to pull it apart, and I haven't got the pipe which connects up to this clack valve here, which I actually do have. So all that's missing is this pipe that goes here in underneath, and that delivers oil through to the main steam here. So that's all on last night for last thing. And that's another part sort of half finished. This is a nice push fit, or it was. Sort of got to be a little bit forceful with it. Oh my gosh. There we go. So that's in place. And that's the progress on that, or some of the progress. Have a look at some mail that come in relation to this in a little while. This, hey Darren. Hey John. John McBernard, g'day. This whole, like, oh, sorry. Clean workbench thing. It's overrated, so don't expect it all the time. Yeah, I've seen that, Darren, but not for a long time. I try not to touch too many music boxes. So anyway, this is today's big mail. Incoming mail phenomenon, I guess you would call it. I finished this job last night and I thought, well, I'm going to clean some spin space. So it's sort of clean, but I put stuff away. Stuff actually, there's probably 10 tools that I use all the time, and they live on here in their boxes. Things like Stan Zenkowski's Z-squares, Randy Richards Scriber, my lathe collets, for the time being anyway. Oil can, stuff like that, kind of lives here, and they need a shelf to put them all on, but there you go. Yeah, these inserts, right? They're CCMT. They've been coming from China since before coronavirus, so middle of February. Anyway, 2 boxes of them, no labels on them, no nothing, so I'm a little bit peeved about that. It's not really what I ordered. But I've got plenty of inserts, so I've actually can put a finish on stuff again because seriously it was getting bad. No one stopped postage till this year. Probably it was. It's been around for years, like 5G and microwave ovens and smart dust and what was the latest one I saw? Yeah, all that crap. Anyway. I've actually sharpened a few of these, actually. I've been messing around with sharpened ones for weeks and weeks. I haven't had new inserts. And I've had one sharp one or one reasonable one that I've been babying along for about 4 different tools for about a month. So these are kind of good. So it's a Christmas miracle here. So we've got inserts. What else come? Got a box. I've been home an hour, so they haven't actually been pulled out yet. This box, they'll probably last forever, Darren. It was actually sticky taped up a little bit better than this, but not very much, which I'm a little bit annoyed about. But I have had a little bit of a look inside it, and then I taped it up again because I had still come home and I didn't want to lose any bits. Now, not everything's here apparently, because there's still a Royal Mail envelope coming with some of the bits in them, which is a bit of a pain because it's going to take months. But anyway, they were kind of the bits I ordered these for. It's got the right noise. I'm expecting to see a family of possums or something in here. Field mice. But so far I haven't managed to get there. Okay. I'm not sure why this come in such a big box. That's one of life's little mysteries. But anyway. I think that's everything. Anyway, this is pretty exciting. Talk about mess. This is where we got a shop vac. So that's quite a collection of castings. Hey Cam. Piston hasn't arrived yet. There are parts coming that mean we can go on with the Stuart 400 this weekend, and that's the plan, is to make a new video on that. This come DHL via America, actually. It's scanned all over, like seriously all over the world, really. It's been to Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and LA, and then Sydney, and then here, and then it's been to you come from Reeves in the UK. So except for about 3 castings, this little box of bits, which could have gone in a much smaller box, you would think, is everything I need to finish this locomotive as far as castings go. There's a tender pump. We've got 4 cast iron buffers, which are a fair bit of work in them, and 4 cute step buffers. Yeah, so this is tender parts for this locomotive. We've got laser cut frames, and we've got four buffers. These are all sort of weekend projects. I hope to get some of these bits done off and on as time goes on. It probably is the longest running project. We've got horn blocks which go on here. Most of these need quite a lot of downstream processing. And we've got dummy springs, which also go on here, just for looks. You put proper leaf springs on them, but there's way too much messing around. So these go here like this. Not so much messing around, but too much messing around to get them reliable so that they work, and they need to work. And we've got axle blocks. These are really nice castings, actually. The axle boxes. There's some weight in that. And we've got a pump. And we have a chimney. We don't have yet a dome and smoke box front and smoke box saddle, which are apparently coming slow with snail mail, and they might be here at some point or they might not. This part we've been waiting for because this is the drive eccentric for that pump that we just made. So that might go on at some point reasonably soon. It's already the eccentrics on the front axle, and that drives the pump. So we've got that casting. So we've got this steel laser cut and a piece of angle for the front and back bumper bars, or whatever you want to call them, these bits here on the tender, because it was cheaper to get this nice bit of angle from England than it was to buy it and pay postage to get it here from Australia. Go figure. There's a buffer beam. Thanks, Fridge. Fridge is our resident locomotive expert. He knows all about this train. I had to say that. So, and we've got 6 wheels. This will get a little bit of progress. A lot of the hard yards are done with these laser cut frames, and they were pretty cheap, and they've come all ready to go except for the holes. And there's a lot of holes to go in them. So that's the box of bits everywhere. And these have got to be cut into 4 bits. There's a fair bit of work in them. These just need a clean up and some screws from the back. It's a bit of work in them too, probably. See, all the funny foreign people don't think was is a proper name. I don't understand that. It's a bit strange. So these are all right. They're not bad at all, actually. And the hard work's sort of done. It's just a matter of attaching bits and cleaning them up and putting some screws in them. Rosnak says it looks like a big project. It is a big project, but it made a commitment now, so I have to go in and finish it. There are some parts coming though for the Stuart 400, so we're going to get a bit of progress on that next, I think. I also got some tool making projects to make. That packaging, Natasha from Reeves, that packaging is really, really bad. Anyway, it's everywhere. But it all got here in one bit, so it can't be all bad. Now, there's another parcel come today, which is pretty exciting. and this will probably be put away for some time. But this came from Offcuts Galore in Sydney, who's probably going to run out of stock at some point. So I thought, well, I'll get these because it's the only place I can get bits this size on the internet. I emailed about 4 sellers and said, can you cut me this to size? And they're like, nah. So we've got two lengths of silver steel for the axles, which is overkill, but that's for the tender axles. They're about that long. And a piece of Teflon bar for the ends of the gudgeon pin for the Stewart 400 engine. So that's pretty exciting. And this is a couple of bits of brass for the tender sides. If we get that on, it's going to be pretty solid. So that's 1.2mm brass sheet, nice and flat. I'm not even going to open that. I'm going to put it straight in the rack, and it'll be there in 5 years when I need it. Probably. So I've spent the money. So kind of the hard work is done. How many litres does the tender tank hold? Someone work it out for me. It's 16 inches by about 7.5 inches by about 7 inches. Oh, you smart. That's what the drawing says. This project's in inches, which is kind of crazy, and I'm going to stick to it because the first part of it that I didn't do has been made in inches. So we're going to keep with that. And it's easier just to read inches off rather than convert everything. If you wanted insensible measurements, it's 400 by 190 by about 180, something like that. Inches aren't that great. So we have enough bits to start this tender if we needed to. And hopefully when the smoke box saddle and front comes on, we can put a smoke box on it and it'll start looking more like a locomotive. And then we might feel more like getting in and making a boiler, but we might not too. We'll see. What's next? Gosh. No one's actually come up with how much money the tender holds. TIG welding the boiler is probably an option. The problem with that rather than silver soldering is that TIG welding's covered under a boiler code or a different boiler code, and it's much more heavily regulated than silver soldering is. So boiler inspectors know what they're looking at with silver soldered boilers, whereas TIG welded boilers require government inspection and all that sort of crap. So at this point, TIG welding is a whole lot more complicated than silver soldering. Probably a lot cheaper, but it is a fair bit more The other thing with TIG welding is that you've got expansion and contraction issues because you can't get everything red hot like you do when you're silver soldering something. And yeah, I'm not sure about that. So brazing's all right, but hard brazed metal tends to crack under heat and expansion and distortion and stuff. So that's where we're at. And you use different qualities of silver or solder on different parts of the boiler so that when you put them together, they don't melt in the middle. And it's a fairly big boiler. Now, silver solder's the go. And it's technology that I can handle and I can do it myself. So that's where we're at with that. I do have a copy of the boiler code and I've read it a few times and no further enlightened than I was before. Melbourne trip for all you Australian guys. Melbourne trip. I haven't given it a lot more thought because aeroplanes and things sort of stopped flying. I don't know if anyone noticed. And social distancing is a thing. I'm not sure when aeroplanes and flights are going to start. I don't know how many people actually have holidays that they can still take. This is some feedback that I'd really like from people. I don't know what is happening with the event that we had thought we might attend. I haven't heard anything concrete about that and about dates and things like that. When did aeroplanes stop flying? When the post slowed down, that's when aeroplanes stopped flying. All this stuff come in a DHL aeroplane. So aeroplanes are still flying, yes. But you try and go down to Flight Centre and see if you can book a flight to Melbourne next week and see how you get on with that. There's a school of thought that says that flights might be really, really, really cheap when people start flying again. So I've heard that from several people, and I've heard the other way this from several people, and we'll see. Darren, very interesting. Is that like 5G? And Ted's, yeah, chemtrails, I don't know about. I don't think there's any actual thing as chemtrails, but there you go. Yes, there is. There's incredible internet sales thing that needs to be maintained. So there's freight and mail planes and supply planes up there everywhere, for sure. Hey, Brian. Water vapor is a chemical, I guess. I don't know. But anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think that most governments of the world have enough lazy capital sitting around to maintain a system that is meant to be kept a secret from the general public, so that for completely unknown reasons. It's just not something that is ever going to happen. So until you get to that point, all these theories are great, flat Earth and all that stuff. It's really good. However, after that point, and you realise that there's got to be a reason for this, and there's got to be some sort of a governing body to cover this up that governs by fear, because nothing else is going to work. You discover that really it's a theory for crazy people. But anyway. So there you go. We should probably get this on board, but I'm going to need some help. I've got Bruce, and Bruce is very good on ambition, but he struggles a bit with follow through because of workload. And I've got John, who has absolutely no ambition and also struggles with workload. And I've got me that sort of falls in and out of ambition as far as that goes, and struggles with the workload, and would love some feedback from someone. So if anyone really wants to get on board with this and it's got nothing to do, drop me an email and we'll have a meeting about it. There you go. There's an ice wall, folks, so you're never going to fall off the world. That's what Antarctica is. You fly to Antarctica and climb up. That's what NASA does, is guard the ice wall. Everyone knows that. Yeah, it's all a hoax, JB. You know that. You should know that better than anyone. The melting ice balls are a hoax just to keep everyone quiet. John thinks he joined the wrong live stream. I'm sorry, John. So anyway, we're not going any further with that. What else is happening? Is everybody happy? I thought I had a whole list of stuff to tell everybody. JB is making a freeze laser for toolmaking competition 2020. There we go. Toolmaking competition 2020. I don't have as yet a entry. I've seen a lot of people who are starting them, and it's a good thing to get started. Now, here's a thing, and I wanted to... We're just enjoying this clean bit of bench here, just by the way. Hey, Stephen. Okay, Cam, you can put in more than one entry. That's awesome. I guess I've had a few people approach me and say, hey, look, can I do anything to assist? Can I help with prizes? Can I do this? Can I help with this? The biggest thing and the greatest help that you can be to this competition and to this community, and this is kind of preaching a bit, but the greatest thing you can do is make an entry and give me a proper shout out for the competition. That's where we're at with it, and that's what I'm saying. I had Aaron from Always Sunny in the Shop asking what he could do. I had Stan Zinkowski asking what he could do. I had several other creators message me and say, what can I do to help this competition? And the big and number one answer The number one answer is, if you've got some clout in this community and you think that shouting it out will advance it in any way, shape or form, then do that, because that's the one thing that you can do to make this competition a success and to help it fulfill the aims that it has, which is to improve videography in this community, because we all need that. I'm stubborn and I'm not going to listen, but everyone else does. And to improve viewership and to get some people some views and some subscriptions. Edit it down. Ted, not going to even look at it. Cam put one in that was 22 minutes last year. It would have been shortlisted if it had been 19 and a half. So you can do it, guys. You can do it. You can't win more than one prize, though. If you've got that video, maybe you can. But you need to be in it to win it. And JB's had some videos over the years that have been amazing and very, very close. And if we'd had more than one prize the first year, he would have won it, because that was awesome. But it is what it is. And we could have more prizes and get them sent out and stuff like that. But we're not here to give everyone a prize. We're here to make the best video. So that's where you need to be. Won't be anything left, in it? Yeah, edit it down. Edit it down. It'd be good practice. That's what you need to do. Hey, Max. Yeah, most important is to make something. Even if it's just something someone else has made. If someone else has designed, that's cool. That's cool. And if you're out shopping some bits, if you've got to get a surface ground somewhere else, so you've got to get it finished, or blued, or whatever, anodized, or whatever, out shop, show us the process. So it's all good, but you can edit it down. I know you can. I will give Cam that his video was very last minute, and it's not like he's got anything else on his plate the last 12 months. He's certainly got plenty to do. It looks from here that he manages a crazy workload in videos and stuff as well, and a lot of other commitments. So we don't grudge him that, and it was a pretty good video. However, great videos, Max. You're right. Really nice job. That's exciting. That's awesome, Max. That's really good. People are seeing that that's a pretty good. You're a pretty good operator, and you make good videos, and you're good looking and stuff. So that helps. But they've got to find that out first. And that's where things like Rustanox's challenge and the tool making competition and everyone getting in with a hashtag and making all the same thing, and Tiplets 19, that sort of stuff, that's where that works, is because people get to see new channels and they subscribe if they like them. So make a video that people like and you'll get more subscriptions. It's as simple as that. I reached out to Poppy because we haven't seen him for a while. And he's actually making a couple of things. I don't know if he's actually turned any metal on camera, but he is actually making an interesting attachment that I'm following along with some interest. But he's been hacked on live stream 3 weeks in a row. I kind of imagine sympathetically that it could be that his computer's a bit slow or that his internet connection isn't particularly good. But he's blaming the teenagers and his tough stand on under 18s and his videos. So I'm not sure what to do about that. He'll probably come back in time and he might make a video that we enjoy for the competition. Bots popping up on channels, yes, this happens, and you just got to deal with them and delete them. In other times, I think that YouTube probably weeds them out through their process, but because they're short-staffed and they've got a virus pandemic happening in America as well as other places, probably YouTube staff is a little bit lax in sorting them out, and that's why we're seeing them at the moment. Probably not any more, I think, than any other time, but they are coming through a bit now. So if you're getting them, and I've seen a couple of posts about them, let's be friends, or will you be my friend, or can we be friends, something like that. Just totally disregard it. Have a look at the person's channel page, because that's not going to hurt anything. And if they've got 20,000 subscribers and absolutely no content, there's a pretty good chance that it's a fabricated or a manufactured account, and just block them. And anyone who's watching this who's feeling oppressed by YouTube viewers who are giving them a hard time, just block them. It's easy as that. It's easy as that. If you want to give them another chance, put them on hide this channel or under moderation, and if they do it again, well, block them then. But if you're getting bots and like robot identities or whatever, yeah, let's be friends, or great content, or stuff like that, just delete them. Block them and delete them. And if you're having problems with someone who's a real person who's giving you a hard time, and some people are just too nice. Aaron Durder, I know, has had some issue with people giving him a hard time because he looks like someone that can be easily bullied. And he's got lots of nice toys, so he's open game. And like, don't even entertain them or worry about them or share their crap or anything else. Think upon it as new viewers with new points of view are new subscribers, or it means that your videos are getting out a bit more, and take that on board as a compliment, and just block people. Just block them, and they don't come back. They rarely chase it up anywhere else. So there you go. That's my take on that. So usually I think YouTube probably, they've been happening for years, and YouTube usually knocks them on the head or edits them out or puts them in a list that gets rid of them, and they cracked down on it a fair bit a little while ago because it was getting out of control. But having said that, they've probably got other things to deal with at the moment, like hoax videos and stuff like that they're trying to crack down on, and so they should. And dangerous and unverified information about health pandemics, stuff like that. So it's very unlikely that they're going to deal with it, and you just need to sorted out. Aaron's channel name, Always Sunny in the Shop, is Aaron. Great guy, really nice guy. Thanks, Gary. Aaron has a job that kind of, I would imagine that, without saying too much, I would imagine that his employee discount for that particular organisation would make anyone think pretty strongly about buying nice tools. So there you go. I guess when he's good already, he's probably worth more than his job. His job's probably worth more than the information, but he's a nice guy, and you should check him out because I like him a lot. What else is happening? I believe that John Creasy's making a boiler, so that'll show everyone up, and I'll be completely on the back burner with those that I'm not already, because I won't be able to keep up with that. Matty's workshop's working on projects all the time. Yeah. Max, some of us haven't even got a timber floor. I mean, I'm working on the dirt here. Yeah, I was going to say that, Dennis. Aaron got mistaken for AVE at the Summer Bash one year, and it was a long time before anyone really worked out that he wasn't, I think. That's awesome, JB. So, what else did I have to share? Don't know, really. Probably not very much. That's a bit poor, isn't it? We were talking about black books. I've got one of these. Dennis probably has one of these. And I know John's got probably the nicest one, but he doesn't show everyone. You can pause that and read it, but that's what's written in the back of mine. It's pretty cool thing to have, actually. But that's the limited edition Summer Bash 2019 one. And it's a big print one, which is kind of handy. The main issue I've got with them, if we're going to be totally frank, is that the spiral binding's crap. That's where I'm at. Kevin, this is a really good book. That's all right, Gary. That's all right. Now, the only one that I know of, there was two that were, one was raffled off and went for over $1,000. And the other one, with everyone's name on it, or as many people as I could get, went to the moderator of a certain group on Facebook. So he's probably watching this video, so I won't say too much, but he got the other one with all the names on it, and I think they're the only two. So that's pretty exciting. Hey, Adam. Yeah, you totally should bring yours to the Vic meet and get everyone to sign it, Craig. That sounds awesome. I have a smaller one as well. There's usually one in every room. There's one over by the computer desk, and there's one here usually, and there should be one over by the mill as well, because I can never ever find them. But this one's Summer Bash 2019 edition. It also has these tabs that come with it, which are awesome, and you should put them in if you get them, because they're pretty handy. If you want to look at dividing charts, for example, it's right there. Or types of screws, it's right there. Or engineering plastics, right there. Or grinding wheel shapes, right there. Boring bar selection and applications, right there. So it's a pretty good book, and the pages are a bit waterproof, so if you happen to spill oil on them, they kind of will handle it a bit better than the engineer's handbook or machinery's handbook. Anyway, take care, Dennis. Good to see you. Good luck with the meetings and keep safe. Russell Dole, good day. Adam has power feed threading again as of about an hour ago. That's pretty exciting. The pages in this are about 5 times as thick as my 1945 or 46 or whatever it is machinery's handbook. Yes, cutting an internal gear. Use a shaper. Sharpen the tool and go for it. If you want to do it fancy pants, go and watch JB's competition entry from 2017, something like that. Really good video on how to cut gears with a shaper. The trouble is with the machinery's handbook is that while everything's in it, I very rarely think to look in there for anything. It's there, and I know it should be there, but I never ever get to the point that I actually look. So this is good because I pretty well know what's in there, and I know what's there, and I've read it a few times cover to cover. It's that sort of book. Don't judge me. And I can find stuff at a minute's notice. There's probably 3 charts in there I use all the times. BA threads I use all the time. Insert identification I use all the time. Dividing charts I use all the time. Workshop metals and is something I use all the time in this. So ANSI and ISO codes. Anyone who's struggling with workshop metals and what they do, you probably didn't even know that was in here. Drill sizes and decimal equivalents I use a lot, although I've got a chart on just about every machine here, so that gets used if I'm just right there with it. Trig I don't use a lot, but there we go. It's a good book. Stolen from Dad, 20th edition. I think my dad has the... John Creasy's put a link up there, internal gear. So there you go. Is there a video showing how to attach the labels? Maybe I should do a video on how to attach the labels. It was pretty straightforward. Big shout out, guys, to my new subscribers. I don't know if you can see this. We'll put this camera up here. 6150, that's awesome. That's really cool. I think a lot of that is probably from this crazy indicator build. Yeah, go and try Steve Jordan. I think he's the man on labels. This is a really good question. They're not a patch. John, that's a really good question. How do the new key wheel castings? These are Reeves castings. They're just flat on the back, whereas these weren't. They were actually recessed on the back. These will have to be machined on the back, whereas the others were actually cast in, probably with a split mold. So they're a bit different profile spokes, I would say, and they're not quite as sharp, the old ones, as the new ones. So probably this will get machined off or finished up so they look the same. But these are Reeves castings. These are Bonds of Euston Road castings. They've got Bonds written on the back of them, on the back of the balance weights. And they're really nice castings, but they're probably, well, they're definitely pre-1956, something like that. So the old ones are amazing, whereas these are, they'll clean up all right, and they need a fair bit of fettling. But a good clean up and they'll be all right. But there's a fair bit of work in getting them from here to looking like that. But the tyre size and all that stuff looks like it's probably fairly similar to what we've got. So hubs are probably a bit smaller, but it's on the 10, they're not the Locomotive. So I think they'll clean up all right. I believe they're off the shelf. It's still a fairly reliable and good locomotive. It's one of the nicer locomotives I think that's ever been designed, as far as running and power and simplicity of build. There's a few people who know their stuff who said, hey, finish this, because it's a pretty decent locomotive when it's finished compared to a lot of designs that have appeared over the years. So there you go. I'm going to reach around. There's my cigarette lighter. Don't smoke, but there you go. This is my indicator holder. Someone asked. It's probably been Loctited up by now. Holy crap. There we go. I'm not sure about the black or the blue. I'm not sure whether I'm going to stick with that or whether I might be cleaning it off and leaving it all finished like this. I'm not sure yet. It was an experiment, and I'm not sure whether I like it or not. I'm not sure whether I'm going to make it worse or better by fixing it. So at some point when I've made a box for it, we'll make that decision. So that's mine. Hey, back to Spain. Yeah, Quill Stop looks really good, Manny. What would ClickSpring do? ClickSpring would heat blue at 295 degrees, polish it beforehand, and end up with an amazing thing that looks like it was, yeah, full-blown poetry, but probably took him about 1,000 attempts. I'm not there. But he wouldn't have made 8 videos about it in a week either. So that's where I'm at with it. I did do my 8 videos, and I did this in under a week. Take care, Cam. It's good to see you. Keep in touch. Hope everything's doing okay. I hope everyone's okay and everything's under control, and we see some videos again at some point. But we fully appreciate that life's crazy busy. So there we go. ClickSprings would look too good to ever use, so I wanted something that looks a bit vintage and fits in my workshop a bit. I like this. I really do. So I might leave it, but I need to make a box for it. That'll happen at some point. A bit Mad Max by the time it's done. That's not a problem, Craig. Would love to see it. If anyone's making one, and that's nearly everyone here. If anyone's making one, email me some pictures, and I'll make a video about them. Just in case, to save you looking it up. If you've got a pencil and paper, that's the address. So I've got all the cast iron to finish. I don't think you need a mill. You've got a shaper and a bit of imagination, Rust Knox. I reckon you could probably do it. See, Ted Gary says, that's awesome. There's 1,000 ways to build it, and I think rather than a mill, it'd probably be fairly easy to do it all in the shaper. I can't think of any real operation that needs a milling machine. Thoughts about that? Not really. I reckon I could sit down and make one of these with the shaper and the lathe without any problems at all. Can't see an issue with that. Not going to make another one. Oh, come on. Doesn't need one because he hasn't got a mill. What do you use to set keyways, the shafts in the middle of keyways on the shaper? And yeah, there's 1,000 uses for it on a lathe too. So fairly useful little thing. Yeah, if he wants to join, that's cool. If he wants to put his video in the playlist, I think we quite happily give him a prize, but it'd have to be a pretty good bit of gear. And yeah, I can't see him being a particularly community spirited individual. If we put that like that, then he's probably just too busy, or he doesn't seem to be someone who responds well to community stuff. So we'll see what happens. There are those that donated some prizes, and we just go through the... Take care, Wazza. Very good. You must have a new job. You poor fish. Working for a living sounds hard work. Yeah, anyone who donated prizes, and there's some amazing things that did get donated. Tom shared some pictures of the set of hardness testing files. This is my set. Good to see. Mr. Zefish, thanks for popping in. Mr. Pete's hard to contact, but I would really like him to. Does anyone know what happened to Mr. Pete's Instagram account? I can't seem to find that at the moment. This is my set of files. These have had a pretty hard life, but they get used. And I think they're exactly the same set. So they're one of the prizes. There's an ogre indicator stand and Michitoyo dial indicator is a really nice one on both accounts. So that's another one. And the set of... that's what happened, John. And... And there's a set of precision ground flat stones from Stefan, which is also nice because not everyone in the Western world has those, or in the Eastern world. He only really posts to the European Union. So that's a pretty awesome prize too. That's awesome, Max. I can't wait to see the shed. So some pretty awesome prizes. Some really cool stuff. And we're all undertaken to post them anywhere in the world. And those that have made an effort to make a contribution, there's past winners and people who think they can get out of it by being nice. The pressure's still there to make a... I totally think you should challenge your entry and absolutely make a video. I believe that. That's where I'm at with it. So I'm expecting videos from all those guys. Yeah, mine's random strings of numbers and letters decided by Google. So that's got to be secure, hasn't it? It's going to be good. JB seems to be spending a lot of time in the garden. And Max seems to be working as a steel worker in a concrete slab. Is that the big server that the COVID-19 app's on, John? Fruitwood also makes yeah, I'm not sure where that was going with that. It's the one that does the 5G. Yep. He's with the bad guys and not the good guys. I forgot about that. Steve Summers is rebuilding his shed because it fell apart, and that's awesome too. Max, that is showing a bit of your heritage there. Is I bet that's not all you. Yeah, I won't go there. Anyway, no stickers, no really exciting mail this week except for all these castings, and they never all come. Others are in the mail, and the brass and bits for this tender. So we're ready to put this aside for a bit and do some on the Stuart 400. The Stuart 400 castings are on the water somewhere. I've got absolutely no idea where. They've left left America, left Florida a fortnight ago. I guess they're probably coming surface mail because it's really, really slow. And they might turn up next week or they might turn up in a month. I'm not sure about that. But we can go on with a couple of things that we've got parts for. So that's something that's going to happen. And finally got inserts, Steve. And yeah, they finally turned up after like 3 months. They dropped off the 60-day eBay listing. And to the point that every time you want to track them, you've got to go search for them. So they arrived, but there's a bit of a problem with me because there's no one here and no letterbox at home to get mail. And if I do get mail, someone else collects it and I never ever see it. So I have a post office box, but there's so many people don't send to post office boxes. So it's got to go to work. And because I work in a shopping centre, then the mailman doesn't come in the shopping centre because he's got to get off his bike. And the contractor, however, delivers the mail in the shopping centre. So if it comes in a box or in a big satchel, the contractor will deliver it. However, if it comes in an envelope like the inserts did, the contractor won't deliver it. So it gets lost. So that was some of the problem, is that the post office actually knows to look out for my mail and to actually put it in my post office box. But I probably really should pay for redirection, and it's a bit of a pain in the neck. So, and until you actually get the parcel or go to buy the parcel, you don't know whether they're going to ship to PO boxes or whether the mail system is going to deliver it to work. So that's been most of the problem with getting inserts locally, is that it's just complicated. I'm glad you got on top of that. And then sometimes it goes to the wrong post office. That's exactly right, because the wrong post office is just across the street. There's two post offices, one of them in one shopping centre and one in the other shopping centre, and they're only maybe 80 metres apart as the crow flies. So officially PO boxes under 3,000 are at one and over 3,000 are at the other one, but someone doesn't seem to work that out. So some parcels end up going backwards and forwards 4 or 5 times before they find the right one, which is not really acceptable. But anyway. Craig, you're right. That's crazy. Mustnox orders nothing. That's really nice. So it's Phenolic coming for the points in ignition for the 400 and something else, and it looks like it's going to be here tomorrow, but we'll see. And yes, the thing, people are sitting at home buying, so stuff's being sent. And I mean, Australia Post has chartered extra planes to get stuff through, and they're not doing too bad. But sometimes parcels, heavy parcels in particular, seem to take weeks. People talking about tool builds show them, or even better, make a video and enter it in the toolkit making competition. Read the rules and make a video and enter it in, because we'd love to see it. John's bought so much crap this week. I'm stopped buying crap because these castings set me back probably more than I'm ever going to talk about or admit online. This pile of castings was a fairly major commitment to this project, so I'm in control mode as far as spending at the moment. But everything's here to make the tender, so probably we were talking about these, JB. They've come laser cut. They're pretty nice. So probably the first job with these, if you're going to get in and do them, is to cut these in half and then cut them in half this way and machine them. And they're all riveted on each side here. And there's a bit of work in them. And then these axle boxes slide between those, and the wheels come in between them. And then this piece of angle iron for the buffer beams, the front and back thingies, the buffer beams. There you go. I'm pretty good at this. That's screwed with a piece of angle on the inside. Bit of work in that. And do a video on riveting, but yeah, I didn't see too many videos on riveting. Go create. If you're still there, Nigel, love to see a video on riveting. They're probably pop rivets, JB. You guys are really touching the bottom of the barrel. So I've got a couple of videos coming up, and it's been 2 weeks since I really produced a decent video. I'm a bit slack like that, because messing around making the 40 plus bits that go into this little pump has been a fairly big job. I love that, Max. It's a train. It needs hot rivets. It's not going to get a lot of hot rivets, to be honest. I'm here for a good time, not a long time, so we'll see. But I don't imagine there's going to get a whole lot of them in the panel work, because I'm crap at drilling straight holes and not holes in line, so we'll see. It pumps oil, but it needs a pipe. Take care, Matt. Good to see you. It's pretty exciting, these, and they're actually flat and pretty good, which is, I could buy some mild steel sheet here, and it might be flat and it might be right, and I can cut them out, but this is a nice straight bit angle too, so that's awesome. Has it pumped any oil? Need more woodworking from me. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's hard to find decent, straight, flat, cold rolled stuff here, so they were a bit of a godsend at the price they were. It was probably cheaper to do that than to get anyone to post them backwards and forwards to JB and get him to do them, or to get anyone locally to do them if you could get the steel. And this is actually, I think it's 3mm steel, it's not 8, so I think it's 3mm, but we can adjust the drawings to match. This works. It does pump oil, but it needs this check valve hooked up, and it needs a pipe in the bottom, because at the moment, if it pumps oil, it just drops out the bottom, and you can't really tell if it's doing anything or whether it's, or where it's going. So there we go. But that's the pump, and it's on. And I've got a video sort of half made about this, so I'll finish it when I pull it down to clean it up and wash it out and get it all hooked up and get it working, and we'll get a video out on this, which is pretty good fun. It's this whole locomotive's a crazy big job, but this is done. This eccentric strap goes on here. Have a look, there's an eccentric here. And this strap, I believe, will go on here. I hope it goes on here. And that drives with a bent shaft onto this lever up here underneath. So it's, the next part for this will be to finish that, and then hopefully by then the smoke box saddle will be ready, which is the piece that goes in here that the smoke box sits on, or the front of the boiler. And that comes, that's sort of, to give you some idea, I had a bit of 100mm cardboard tube sitting here, but I probably threw it out, which would have been the sensible thing to do. I think I did. Don't know where it went. But the boilers have 4 inches, 100mm, 102mm or something diameter. And it goes from here through to about here somewhere. So it's pretty solid bit of gear with the boiler on it. Take care, Richard. Thanks for the email again. I'll answer the other email at some point. Take care, Kevin. Good to see you. So yeah, this pump's pretty well finished. Hinge lid, because they always get lost, and the original drawing just had a pipe with a plug sitting in it, and that's really near a screw top, and that's really a pain in the neck, because every time you want to top this up after a run, everything's going to be hot, so you can't sort of mess around dropping bits in the grass, etc., etc., which is going to happen every time. So it's easier just to pick that up with oil can and fill it up with oil. Take care, Max. Good to see ya. Rust knocks us off. We must be about finished anyway. We must be getting boring. Everyone's leaving. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. I've been going on this pretty heavy. I'm going to go back on the Stuart 400 at some point during the next weekend. And probably I'd like to get a little bit done on the front end of this before I start on the tender. What's its weight when it's complete? Well, its weight at the moment, as it is, oh my gosh, is probably about 25 kilos, something like that, I would say. I would say there's another 25 kilo in the copper in the boiler. And there's another 4 or 5 kilo in all this cast gunmetal and iron for the tender. And then there's another kilo of brass sheet or more in the tender. And then there's running boards, and someone's keeping a tally of all that. It's a pretty heavy engine, but it should be capable of pulling a pretty decent load too. It's take care, Joseph. I hope you're feeling better soon. So the answer's lots. It's pretty solid. It's really, it's heavier at the moment than the Stuart 400 engine is, and that's pretty solid. Anyway, it's not going to get dropped on anyone's toe. I would say it has been dropped a couple of times because this front bumper beam here is bent. If we run a ruler along there, it's bent in on the corners where it's had a tap. So I'm going to try and straighten that out at some point when I get this apart to put the screws in here under the cylinders, which is a stupid idea for the smoke box saddle, because no one's drilled those holes there for that yet. So it's at some point going to be pretty solid, but it's a long way away yet. Anyway, I'm going to call it, I think. Everyone has left. It's good that you guys have come out and supported me. Get in touch, anyone who wants to have some input into a meetup here in Australia. I'd really appreciate that. And make a tool making competition video. Really, that's probably the best thing you can do for the competition and for the community. It's a really, no matter who you are, even a little guy or someone who has never made a video, you've got friends and family, and if you share it, it gets the word out about the competition, and it gets a subscription for someone. It might not be for you, or it might not be for me, but it'll be for someone who makes a good video will get a subscription. You have a look at Alistair at Adventures with a Very Small Lathe, and the way his channel's grown in the last couple of years and why it's grown. And he'll probably tell you one of the reasons is the tool making competition. It might only be a small reason, but certainly that's why. Anyway, TMC 2020, go and check it out. I'm out. Be good and be kind to each other, and don't stress too much about the chemtrails.